guys, Coach Becca here. All you need for today is a mat and an optional piece of resistance like I mentioned in the introduction. We're going to start with stork balance, and I'll throw some challenges your way as we get going. So place your instep up as high as you can on your thigh and then place your hands on your hips. We're going to try to do this for about 30 seconds, just a regular stork hold. Focus on inhaling through your nose, rolling your shoulders back, and exhaling through your mouth. Some good diaphragm breathing and focusing on one point may help you hold your balance most effectively. Think about wiggling your toes. Hopefully you're barefoot for this session. That might help your stability, as that's our primary focus today, stability. Deep breaths. Okay, and from here, I'm going to throw our first challenge at you. I want you to try to hold this position with your eyes closed. And as you can see, it's hard. So if you lose your balance, just shake it off, get back into position, wiggle those toes into the ground, and use your breath. You don't have to be perfect, but give it a try. Next challenge, we're going to roll up onto the toes, back with our eyes open now, and then try to stay up onto that ball of the foot. It's okay if you lose your balance. Give it a couple tries in the extended stork position. And once you fall, just relax and switch sides. Well done. Again, replace the instep of the foot as high as you can on your thigh. Take some deep inhales and exhales. Again, nose hold out through the mouth. Think about inhaling for 3 to 4 counts, holding 3 to 4 counts, and exhaling for 3 to 4 counts. Spread the toes apart, find a focal point, and you're doing great already. Again, we're not aiming to be perfect on this workout, but we are looking to progress and improve on areas we're weak on. So struggling today is okay. All right, we're gonna do our first challenge here around the 30-35 second mark. Eyes closed. Use your core. It's okay if you have a couple rough points. Get back into it. Try again. We're really tuning into the body's ability to adapt and rely on things other than sight as our primary sense. So this is really good for your body's awareness. Okay, eyes back open again, and I'm just turning here so you can see what my heel's doing. Eyes are open, and here we're gonna roll up onto the balls of the feet, elevate to the toes, and try to hold that position. It's hard, so if you fall, that's okay. I'm gonna give you time and space to do it again. Everyone's usually better on their second attempt. Doesn't have to look pretty, but give it a try. Well done. Each time you do that, you'll get a little bit better. Our next stability exercise is the single leg balance reach to overhead. I'll demonstrate facing forward first and then turn to the side. Here we go. We're going to do 5 repetitions. That's not what I want to see, by the way. I don't want you bending at the hips making a W. I want you to make a T. So that was an example of what I don't want to see. See that nice straight line all the way from my heel up to the hips. So I'm kind of keeping a nice line. That's just showing that I'm engaging my core, spreading my toes apart, stretching through the hamstrings, engaging, again, like I said, the trunk. We don't want to make that W shape because that is not good for the lower back. So focus not so much on depth, but on great execution. All right, now we're going to extend the arms forward and then pull the knee through. So just a little bit of a shift in our focus here, same kind of single leg reach, just a little variety here in terms of coordinating lower body and upper body. Just kind of throwing some different stuff at you today. Excellent. Hinge at the hips, reach overhead in that stable position, and then stand tall. Granted, some of you may really struggle with both of these variations, and I just encourage you to get through the ugly reps, if you will. Work through where you're working from right now, and each time you do this, you'll get better. Here's our demonstration from the front, and we're on the other leg now. And we're going to do 5 of both variations. I would encourage you to engage your diaphragm. That example I showed of what I don't like to see is oftentimes people fail to engage their trunk or their diaphragm. So use your breath pattern. Right here, I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to hold that breath as I reach, creating a nice stable core, stable trunk, and then I'm going to exhale as I reach overhead. So it's a controlled movement, but it's also a movement that taps into what matters most, which is trunk stability, trunk engagement, ankle stability, hip and knee stability. All right, let's shift it into a forward reach. Now it is hard to do a hinge, get stability, and reach forward, and that's why I want to throw in this variety after doing the first variety. So achieve that stable hip hinge position using your trunk and your breath, and then reach overhead. So really this is a total body movement. We're using the arms, the trunk, the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So I like this one not just for one purpose. I like it for teaching our body that it works together as one unit. So that's why this is one of my favorite moves. You'll see it in a lot of my videos. Okay, balance touch circuit. This one's tough. We're going to start with a front to back touch. So just pretend that you're stepping front to back over a hurdle. We're going to do 5 touches front to back with our eyes open. Here's what it looks like from the side. See, I'm just kind of stepping over something imaginary there. Just want to give you all the views. Okay, so now we're going to do it with our eyes closed. And again, we're going to make our body work on senses other than our sight for balance. So you're going to feel your toes digging in more. You're going to feel the shift in your core if you lose your core engagement. So let your body do a little extra work here as you shut your eyes and improve your stability and awareness. All right, eyes back open, and let's do that front to back touch. 5 front to back touches, eyes open. And we've got our eyes shut moving forward here. So front to back touches, eyes closed. No worries if you lose your balance, just plug right back in with me. We're just doing 5 front to back. You can do it. All right, excellent. Now we're going back to the other leg. So we're switching to the original, and we're doing lateral touches, eyes open here. Just pretend there's a hurdle right in front of your other foot. Getting some lateral mobility in the hips. Okay, and now we're going to close our eyes. So closing the eyes again forces that body to pick up its awareness, be aware of every joint working together now without sight to rely on. And those lateral touches are great for lateral hip mobility. Okay, switch legs. Eyes open first, 5 of those. Again, the hips are a ball and socket joint, so they've got a lot of range of motion that go through them. So they tend to be very easily injured. And that's why we're going to cover all range of motions through the hip today. All right, let's close our eyes and force that body to work a little harder now. This one's tough with the eyes closed. Well done. Back to the original leg, and now it's rotation touch. Like I mentioned, the hip has the ability to rotate. It can go laterally, and it can go front to back. So we're doing this as injury prevention, but also for balance. So the leg that's not moving right now is working on balance. The leg that is moving right now is working on mobility. And we've got our eyes closed now. This one's hard to keep the eyes closed. It's a big movement. Do your best. Well done. Rotation touches on the other leg. We're almost through this challenge sequence, you guys. Eyes open first, get the hang of the movement, get lots of range of motion. And eyes closed. Let's really push ourselves here. You guys can do it. Cue into the toes, digging into the floor, cue into your trunk, helping you balance without your sight. Well done. You'll get better at that one every time you do this video, guys, so it's okay if you struggle. Now we couldn't talk about stability without talking about core stability. So bird dogs are up next. Left arm out, right leg back. So you're working left arm to right leg. You're going to extend and then cross your midline by touching your knee to your opposite elbow. And this improves your core stability. Your goal is to be smooth and controlled, using your breath pattern to time your movements. And here's what it looks like from the front. Crossing that midline again, training core stability, training rotary core, or training some rotation through the core. Use that diaphragm breathing, inhale and exhale. And we're really training that core to be stable and strong. Let's switch sides. Now it's going to be our right arm to left leg, and we're doing 12 per side. Try to extend and then shorten as much as you can. Extend and contract. And here's what it looks like from the side. You can see I'm keeping a nice strong line through my trunk because of that breathing. Well done. Hop on and back up for me, and we're going to do some single leg ankle circles. So I'm just going to do about 10 circles one direction, 10 circles another direction. Since we're working on ankle stability, I like to work on ankle mobility at the same time. So we're just working on balance, but also working on a little bit of mobility because they really do go hand in hand. 10 circles one direction, 10 circles the other direction, all with great posture. All right, now back to the original leg. Now we're going to work on some shoulder touches. So single leg, and you're just going to touch the opposite shoulder blade. This is actually a shoulder clearance test. So if you have any pain here, you should definitely refer to a PT or your physician. But we're also just incorporating a little balance with a little shoulder injury screen. So if you can touch across the body without losing your balance and without pain, you are in good shape. And this is just a good check to do on yourself if you're an athlete. You want to make sure everything's functioning well, both on a stability and mobility platform. All right, now you're going to need to grab a towel, a canned good, or a very lightweight, even a water bottle works. So here I'm just using a can of good old-fashioned baked beans. And this little resistance item is just going to help improve our shoulder stability. So you're going to raise that arm up, and you can see me actively suck that shoulder down into the joint. And what I'm going to do now is reach towards the floor, keeping a straight line in my top arm. So I'm looking at that light resistance item. I'm lining that can good up with my fingertips and reaching as close as I can to the floor. This is excellent for shoulder stability because of that light resistance item. My shoulder has to be stable this entire time. So see how my arm stays in one spot at all times. It's kind of following the same track. And then it works spine mobility by rotating to allow the movement, as well as hip mobility because my hips are rotating to allow this movement. So this one checks a lot of boxes: shoulder stability, spine and hip mobility. It also gives your hamstrings and low back a great stretch. All right, here we go. I'm going to pack that shoulder in. I'm going to keep that bicep to my ear, and I'm going to rotate here. You can see my flexibility is a little different on this side as I reach to a little bit of a different angle. And that's, something I'm trying to train out of. I'm definitely stronger on one side than another, so I have a little less mobility on my strong side. And you can even see that in just the way that I do this movement, slightly different on my weak side and my strong side. So again, have a strong top shoulder. Use that light resistance, even if it's a towel, to rip that shoulder into the joint, building the shoulder stability. Keep the bicep close to the ear. Try to line up that resistance item with your fingertips at all times. Rotate through the spine and the hips, gaining flexibility in the hamstrings and mobility in the hips and shoulders. This is a fantastic exercise. The windmill is one of my favorites. Well done. All right, bring that canned good back up to the opposing arm, and you'll see me just pack that shoulder in, keeping the bicep near the ear. Take a big step back and lower down into a split lunge. I'll show you about 6 from the front, and then I'll turn to the side so you can see how my joints are stacked. This works on balance in the lower body. It works on stability because this is kind of a challenging position to hold. So we're working on lower body stability and strength, great for the quads and butt. But we're also working on shoulder stability by holding that resistance item overhead. And you'll see how that can good. It's not in front of me, it's not behind me, it's not to the side, it's directly over my shoulder joint. I've got my knees stacked, my hips stacked. And again, it's okay if that knee drifts forward slightly. That's fine. What we want to work on, here we go as we switch sides, is packing that shoulder into the joint and being strong through our core, strong in our hips. If you feel like your front heel is drifting a little bit, you can spread your stance out a bit. The back heel should be elevated at all times. And here's your side view. We're doing 12 per side. And from the side here, you can really see that my front heel is rooted down and my back heel stays elevated. And again, you can see that I keep that light resistance directly over my shoulder, bicep to ear. So you'll get better at that again, just like all the other things, the more you do this workout. Okay, here's the side view of the exercise we're gonna do next. So cross the arms, and here's just so you can see a little bit what's going on here in terms of angles. So that's what the trunk squat looks like. We're gonna work on engaging our core and going into a mini squat here on one leg. So again, start the movement in your ankle, kind of that's where we're building some stability. And then we're moving into the knee. What we don't want is the knee moving side to side while we're in a stagnant position. And from there in the hip, we want to make sure that our hip is building stability through this movement. And of course then our trunk. This is a single leg isometric trunk squat hold. Lots of words, I know. But try to breathe evenly throughout this movement through the nose and really think about using your diaphragm to help you gain stability in this movement. So that's the side view, and we're going to do 30 seconds on this side now. So again, root the toes into the ground. Think about trying to control the knee for now, just keeping it strong and stable, building that ankle, knee, and hip connection, building that stability, and lastly, knitting the core muscles together to bring the whole movement together. 30 seconds total. This one, like our previous one, does build strength in the quads and glutes at the same time. So you're getting a little bit of a workout today while we really focus on stability. All right, well done. Grab your light resistance item again and bring it up overhead, packing that shoulder in. And now what we're going to do is just single leg calf raises. We're doing 15 per side. Let me show you what it looks like from this side, and we'll start our rep count right here now that you've gotten demonstration. So roll up and down, and we're just working on ankle extension here. Important for all athletes and really all clients of all shapes and sizes and all levels. This kind of mimics the walking movement or hiking or stepping up steps. And then as you can see, we're just trying to hold that can good right over our shoulder as best as we can, keeping that shoulder packed down into the joint, building shoulder stability while we work on ankle stability and mobility. Switch sides here. I'm going to show you a couple from the front and then a couple from the side, and we'll do 15 here together. I think it's important not to rush when you're doing balance training. A lot of times people try to rush so they can get their reps in, or before they lose their balance, we try to squeeze the movement in, and really we miss out on the diaphragm engagement that way. So if you can always bring things back to your breath, your inhale and your exhale, that's going to help clue you into your diaphragm and clue you into your strong core, which will really help with your stability. All right, lateral core and shoulder stability. Hold. This one's a tough one, so we are going to end on this one. It is really challenging, so I'll show you 2 levels that you can do. And again, every time you do this, you can try to get a little better. So it's a kneeling side plank, and so notice my arms extended. And we're just going to go up and hold the leg laterally and the shoulder up. So that's level 1. You can continue holding that if you're level 1. Here's level 2, and we're just going to try to hold this for about 15 seconds. So this is really tough. This is building stability laterally in the core as well as the shoulder and the hip. So it's a total body movement, and I love that. It doesn't get any better than using the hips, core, and shoulders. Well done. Let's switch sides. And guys, it's quality over quantity. I don't need you holding side planks and planks for minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Right now we're just working on a really quality stability-based movement for say 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, here's level 1. Elevate the foot for the hip, strong core, strong shoulder. Level 2, still strong shoulder, strong core, but now we've got our leg extended. Super tough movement. Again, use your breath. Remember, we train from the inside out in terms of core and from the bottom up, so ankles up to shoulders. And you did that today. So well done becoming a better athlete and human being. All right, and that's it for today, guys. If you'd like to stretch, I invite you to do so. Thanks for joining me on our stability-based session. I'll see you guys again soon. Have a great evening. Be sure to hit subscribe so you stay up to date on all my recent videos, and visit my website, www.kawokacoaching.com, for recipes, wellness blogs, and more.